Okay, welcome to our second attempt at this.
Yes, because the first attempt really sucked. Due to the fact of ridiculous video lag for reasons I do not know, but I hope will hopefully fix. I believe we found the culprit in the form of the stupid time limit. We're going to start doing 15-minute videos instead. Among other things. But anyway, through the story that we have already explained...
Yep.
You could probably read this if you really wanted to.
Yep.
To sum it up in a really interesting way, if you've never played a Legend of Zelda game, don't worry about the plot, because it's all pretty much the same thing.
Yep.
In a nutshell.
Everybody wanted to try Force Ganon, got it. Ganon decided to try and kill everybody and take over the world.
Of course!
And, well, they sealed him up in the damn Golden Land. And,
Only it wasn't strong enough to keep him from coming back.
yeah, somehow he managed to break through.
He breaks through that in like every game. The sealed realm's a joke!
That's the sacred bone.
Oh yeah, whatever. But yeah. Basically, the 7 sages were commanded to seal the gate. And it should have remained for all time. But it didn't because, what do you know?
Because seals in these games always suck.
Well, yeah. It's a video game trope. If there's a seal housing some kind of evil spirit, it will inevitably be broken by the end of the game. Because some evil bastard wants the absolute power that's said to lurk behind the gate, when in reality the absolute power is an evil demon that probably kills him immediately.
Oh, the king is a skeleton.
Yes. A very realistic looking skeleton.
I always thought that was Aghanim and he had a huge mustache.
That's pretty funny. And no, I have no idea why the guards make that sound. Also, when I look at Aghanim, originally when I looked at this, I thought that that red thing on his head was like a big nose and that he was like really ugly.
I always thought that red thing was around his neck, like I said, and then he had a gigantic mustache.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that thing's actually a pendant on his head.
Yeah.
And that the 2 slits at the bottom of that are like his eyes. He's like covered up like a ninja. It's really freaky looking regardless. Maybe it's still hidden. Anyway, we can start now, since we've now done the entire plot line without reading very much of it. And yay. So yeah. Hooray for that sound effect.
Of course, I could do what I did the first time I played by mistake and call the main character G.
Gotta kid him, Yoji.
Yeah, Yo G. I heard that you kidnapped the princess.
But I still trust you.
Yeah. Oh, I put my real name.
Nice job. It doesn't matter. We can do that.
Oh well.
I've done it in my
I guess
Pokemon
it's
playthroughs.
irrelevant.
I've done it in my Pokemon playthroughs. It's not a big deal. A lot of people do it, actually. Although
We would ask how Zelda can telepathically send you messages.
Oh, hey, I never realized that all the characters in this game actually did pronounce their names in lowercase. That's why I always spelled the character's name in uppercase. Now I feel like a complete tool. Link, I'm going to Gamelon. Okay, no, I won't do that again. It's overdone. I might make
Hey,
more...
Uncle, next time I see you, you'll be a dead man, but...
Yep. I might try to do CDI references later, but they're so overdone. It's kind of ridiculous.
Don't leave the house. Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's just go back to bed. And
let's
forget about Zelda.
let's just go back to bed. You know.
Maybe we could steal his liquor collection.
But then again, if we don't go, the game will never start. So.
Then again, maybe we could just steal Uncle Uncle's liquor collection. He left it out. So it's
and there's a weird collection of guards that will not let you pass.
Yeah.
Of course, they give you interesting hints if you actually talk to them.
There's also a very strange glitch you can perform, which lets you pass through them to get to the first dungeon early.
Actually, I didn't know that.
It's required to, it's actually required to do a swordless run of this game.
Gee, I wonder who set this up.
Could be Aghanim.
Yeah, the king.
Yeah,
anyway, of course, this guy... You're not allowed to get in the castle, son!
Hey, aren't you letting me and my boss go? You can't come in here.
So we have to find an alternate way into the castle.
Which, conveniently, there is one, and if you actually walk around for a while without knowing it, Zelda will actually tell you where it is. So I guess the game is a little... kind for that. And then you land in this mysterious well.
Yep. And guess what? Your uncle's dead.
Oh my god! I never saw this coming! Despite that, you get your sword and Link has to hold it up.
Yep.
And now you can perform your sword moves. Basic controls, B is slash. If you hold B down, you can do up a charge slash and do a spin attack. Which, by the way, you don't require a magic meter to use in this game.
Nope, you can just do it.
Although then again, the one in Ocarina of Time doesn't require a magic meter. Only the supercharged versions of it do. You can still do the spin attack without the magic meter. It just isn't as strong.
Oh, this stupid chest looks moronically... It looks moronic. Just have 5 rupees in it. But if you didn't have the lantern, that would be the lantern.
Yep, there's 3 chests in the game that provide that. There's the first one in your house, there's the one in that well there, and then the final one is in Zelda's prison cell. They each don't really have much of a purpose, but the lantern, despite what many people think, I think is actually a required item, because there is one puzzle where I think you need the lantern to do it right. You might potentially be able to use the fire rod, but every time I've tried to do that, it's never worked, so... Spoilers for later items, but yeah, it's not like... Spoilers for a how-many-year-old game? 15? 16?
More like 20 now.
Yeah. Basically, it barely counts as spoilers, because I'm pretty sure everybody's played this game, and if you haven't, why the hell are you watching this? Get off your ass and play it! But yeah. I mentioned in the previous one, that emblem at front of the door is actually used in Ocarina of Time again for the Shikai. It's kind of an interesting trivia. I'm sure somebody didn't know that and might have found it interesting.
I always like this guy. Most people probably don't know he's even there.
Yeah, he just...
But he mentions that all the guards in the castle are acting strangely. Oddly enough, unlike the door guy, he doesn't tell you to get out.
Yeah, he's actually kind of a nice guy. Anyway, it's interesting to note that most of Hyrule Castle is completely skippable. Because there's really nothing in here. Which is kind of boring. Although, it's also worth mentioning that this is the first introduction of the main Hyrule Castle anthem.
Yep.
Which would later appear in The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. And it also gets a cameo at Twilight Princess. I'm not sure about Skyward Sword. I'm sure somebody will post in the comments explaining that, because we haven't played that game yet. Despite that, though, I know for a fact that it was not in Ocarina of Time. Or a Majora's Mask. I'm not sure about the Game Boy ports, but I kind of doubt it would be in any of those, because those games don't take place in Hyrule. Anyway, here is the map. Where do you wish to go? Yeah, but this song is awesome.
One of the most fun things to do here is to do that.
Yes, knock the guards into the pit. No! Not into the pit! It burns! It's impossible to avoid. Clunk. You don't get items for doing that, but it is entertaining. It's like a cartoon pratfall. And yeah, if you just tap the guards' swords, they don't do anything. But if you hit their shields, they take damage. Because, you know, that makes logical sense. Apparently shields in The Legend of Zelda don't do anything. Which actually is kind of true, except Link's actually can deflect arrows.
But he gets better when it can deflect more than just arrows.
Well, yeah, it can also deflect magic. But aside from that, it doesn't do very much. And yeah, these guys are completely stupid. And there's a rupee. We've only seen rupees from chests. Basically, they're the currency. You can hold up to 999 of them. And unfortunately, since this is a Zelda game, there are things in this game which require more than 999 max. Not all at once, just in payment. Although, luckily, the payment you have to do here isn't nearly as stupid as the one in Wind Waker. You probably know what I'm talking about if you've played that game.
Oh, there's one we've seen before.
Boomerang!
Yeah, you know... Oh, you know what I realized? We never actually covered the status screen.
Status screen. It basically shows all your inventory. The Y items are your special items. The A button items indicate what you can do with the action button. The pendants over there we have to collect later on. We don't actually know what they do yet. The equipment subscreen shows our level of sword, level of shield, and level of tunic. And then the dungeon item shows the map, compass, and boss key that you can collect. But we don't have it. Oh, we only have the map right now. Also, in the top inventory screen there, you got the magic meter, the currently selected item, the number of rupees, bombs, arrows, and keys you have. As you can see, we just used our key. And your life expansion hearts, which you will get later on.
This is a Zelda game. There will be more hearts.
Interestingly enough, I've read that you start Skyward Sword with 6 hearts instead of 3.
Interesting.
It's either 6 or 5. Which is kind of strange, because it's a staple in the Zelda series. You always start with 3 hearts. Except for Zelda 2, but that's because that game you kind of needed more life.
Okay, this guy. You can fight him the regular way.
Although he's kind of annoying.
Yeah, he's kind of annoying to do this way. Or you can just do this.
Yeah, don't worry about the vase. Hitting him with the vase takes a ton more damage, although you can kill him insanely quickly with the spin attack. If you're fast enough. And you get the big key. The big key is a staple. Interestingly enough, Ocarina of Time's big keys are actually exactly the same as the Link to the Past big keys.
Do you understand?
Luckily in this game, unlike Kebra Gebra, they put the right command at the top, so you don't have to listen to it for hours.
And now Zelda kind of follows you.
And you also would have gotten the lantern from that chest if you had not gotten it from before. Either way, following mechanic doesn't really do very much. Zelda doesn't interact, doesn't do anything. It's just sort of an extra little thing that they do. You'll see it repeatedly throughout the game, actually.
Well, there are points where it gets kind of annoying.
It's kind of important, though. Either way.
And while we're on the topic, is it just my imagination, or does Zelda's outfit in this game look more like a maid than a princess?
Yeah, it kind of does. Then again, she was imprisoned by Aghanim. Maybe he did it.
But Aghanim has some sort of kinky maid fetish?
Perhaps. Because in the actual concept art, and I know what you're talking about because Zelda's outfit is like almost completely white in this game. On the concept art that Zelda has, her outfit is more pink and purple.
Actually, the concept art for this game, her dress is blue.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. No, the pink and purple one was an updated version. It was later used for Ocarina of Time. But yeah, maybe it's just hardware limitations, because that happened a lot. But then again, the SNES had didn't have that much problem.
No, but this was an early NES game, or SNES game too.
Yeah, I guess. Either way. Now we have the troubling but almost required video game-like thing of walking all the way back the way we came. But unlike before where you just walk out the door, we actually have to take the secret passage in the throne room.
Yeah, you know, the secret passage you won't know is there unless Zelda's with you.
And even if you do know it's there, you can't open it anyway, because...
You need 2 people to push it open.
Actually, I think it's just plot relevance. If you could push open the door, you could leave Zelda in the dungeon and proceed with the game without her. Then again, the 2 people required actually does make logical sense. And it's actually kind of funny to note that even if you don't have the lantern at this point, going into the dark rooms will still give you the lantern effect. You just can't light the torches that you could otherwise light without it.
I'm gonna swing over to the lantern for that reason. That makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to fight things in here.
Although it still doesn't make logical sense why you need to use magic to light the things. The lantern isn't magic. Then again, maybe it is to the Kokiri or Hylian or whatever. It's interesting to note that the lantern reappeared in Twilight Princess, and it actually got its own lantern meter in that game. Which kind of makes sense, because, you know...
Hey, Rope.
Yeah, this is one of the few times he actually appears in this game.
Yep.
Rope is actually a very uncommon enemy in this game, which is funny because he was pretty common in the original Legend of Zelda. And pretty annoying in the original Legend of Zelda.
He hasn't gotten any more annoying. He hasn't gotten any less annoying in this game.
Yeah, he's a little bit easier to handle now because he's a little bit slower. In the original Legend of Zelda, the second Rope spotted you, he would dash you at ridiculously fast speeds. And this one, he just sort of zooms at you a little bit, and there's Keys. Another enemy who doesn't appear very often. You will be seeing his Dark World incarnation a lot, though, which is a flying eyeball. The regular Keys isn't very common. Unfortunately, we are pulling up on the time limit, so we're going to exit this room, and then we will continue in the next segment.
Except there ain't gonna be an next segment because you're merging them together, right?
Actually, I was going to keep them split.
Okay.
Just because it might be easier. So, we'll see you guys then, and after passing through these sewers, we will be very close to the sanctuary.